Welcome to IELTS Academy 9. I'm Yusr, and today we will learn how to write the last paragraph in Task 2 essay, which is the conclusion. But first, let me remind you that you should watch my two videos on writing an introduction and writing well-developed body paragraphs. Both videos' links are in the description box. To conclude your essay powerfully, you should first know that writing a conclusion is easy. However, you should consider some do's and don'ts to leave your examiner with a good impression. Therefore, in this lesson, we will learn some do's and don'ts of writing a conclusion, samples of conclusions for you to know how to write a Band 9 conclusion, and of course, practice time for you to write a conclusion for your essay. So now, let's get started. Let's start with some do's and don'ts, what you should do and what you shouldn't do when writing a conclusion. Of course, the conclusion is the last paragraph for your essay, which is the last part that you leave your examiner with. So it has to be simple and to the point and at the same time correct. So you should know that your conclusion is a restatement of the thesis or the introduction. The thesis is the last sentence in your introduction, which means that you cannot surprise your examiner with a new idea. No, you simply say what you have mentioned in your introduction before. Your conclusion has to be short and to the point. It's 1 to 2 sentences, not longer. And of course, you have to keep it simple and to the point. Don't try to complicate things. Try to be clear and, as I told you, mention what you have stated before in the introduction or through the whole essay. You should know that you should start your conclusion with some linking words. This prepares the examiner that you are done with your body paragraphs, that you are finished, and now you are wrapping up your essay. So you should start your conclusion with these linking words. In conclusion, to conclude, in summary, to summarize, to recapitulate, or to sum up. What you shouldn't do, of course, you shouldn't introduce a new idea. You cannot give a new idea in the conclusion. You shouldn't overwrite. Don't give a long conclusion. It's 1 to 2 sentences only. Don't copy the thesis or the introduction. I said you have to restate the introduction, but you have to do a paraphrase, which means that you use synonyms, different words that give the same meaning. And we will learn how to do this when we practice together. And of course, you don't need to complicate things. You don't need to use sophisticated language. Be as simple as you can. The last thing is these linking words you cannot use in the conclusion. Finally, lastly, all in all is informal, so try to avoid it. Finally and lastly are for the body paragraphs, especially if you have sequence of ideas like first, second, third, last, or firstly, secondly, thirdly, lastly, or finally. So these two linking words are for the body paragraphs. Don't use them in the conclusion. And now let's move to cover 2 samples and learn from them before we practice. Now let's read the question first. Competitiveness among high school students should be encouraged. Do you agree or disagree? I already wrote the introduction that we need to restate in the conclusion. So let's read the introduction together. Competitiveness plays a key role in shaping different facets of society, including the institutions that prepare students for entering the job market. With the global fast-growing changes in economies, high school students should be motivated to compete with each other. In my opinion, the merits of this position will be illustrated by looking at how a competitive spirit can help train young people to both spot an opportunity and cooperate with others. I underlined the thesis statement because it has the 2 ideas I'm going to cover in the body paragraph, which means that competitiveness should be encouraged because it helps students to find job opportunities and, of course, to help cooperate or work together. I'm not going to discuss body paragraphs. I already did this in the previous video. Now I'm going to show you my conclusion. My conclusion is only 1 sentence, and I started my conclusion with the linking word to summarize. To summarize, competitiveness is essential in terms of finding better job opportunities and learning collaboration. As you can see here, it gives the same meaning that I stated in my introduction, and it shows my opinion that I'm with encouraging competitiveness among school students. And as you can see that I used synonyms. Instead of spot in the introduction, I used the verb finding. And instead of cooperate, I used collaborate, but in the noun form, collaboration. So as you can see, it's as simple as that. We restate using synonyms or different words to give the same meaning that already mentioned in the introduction. Now let's move to another sample. Public transportation could be made free of charge. Are there more advantages or disadvantages to this change? My introduction. Most large cities today provide numerous public transport services which are available to residents for a fee. Whether to provide these options free of charge is often a highly debated topic. However, it's believed that making public transportation available free of charge ramifies more advantages than disadvantages. This will be proven by looking at how a free public transportation system provides accessibility to low-income individuals and encourages more environmentally friendly living. So here in my thesis statement, I show that there are more advantages for making public transport services free, and this is for the low-income individuals and for a better environmentally friendly living. Of course, we are going to cover these two ideas in the body paragraphs. Now let's move to the conclusion. My conclusion is out of 2 sentences and it begins with to sum up. Let's read it together. To sum up, providing free of charge transport services has its positive impact on people. It doesn't cost them much money and it gives them the opportunity to have a more environmentally friendly lifestyle. As you can see, a paraphrase of the thesis statement, and I used synonyms. Instead of free, I used free of charge, and instead of individuals, I used the word people. And instead of living, I used lifestyle. Now it's the practice time. Let's have this question together. The quality of life in big cities is worsening. What do you think the reasons are? What can you suggest as a solution? This is the introduction. Today, the world's biggest cities are overcrowded as increasingly more people are choosing to migrate towards an urban lifestyle. Often the drawbacks of this phenomenon include the worsening of the overall quality of life found there. This essay will investigate or explore or analyze the reasons behind this problem and tries to draw the attention to some solutions to consider. Here I added like different verbs, investigate or explore or analyze, for you to learn the vocab. Of course, you write the ideas in the body paragraphs, and I want you now to pause the video and bring a paper and a pencil and try to write your own conclusion. Okay? After you do this, you can proceed the video and see my conclusion and compare yours to mine. This is my conclusion. It begins with the linking word in conclusion. In conclusion, the quality of life in big cities is deteriorating as many people relocate to more civilized cities. Providing more facilities to absorb the newcomers' needs will definitely solve the problem. So I restated that there are different reasons because I mentioned that there are different reasons that I should cover in the body paragraphs. Now let's see the synonyms I used. And instead of worsening, which means like getting worse, I used deteriorating. And instead of migrate, I used the verb relocate, to move to a different place. And instead of urban, I used the word civilized. And instead of people, I used newcomers. Okay, let's have another practice. Many people want their country to host an international sporting event. Others believe that international sporting events bring more problems than benefits. Discuss both views and include your opinion supported by examples. This is the introduction. International sporting events enhance cultural understanding and economic development among the global family. However, the staging of major international sporting spectacles is not positive. Thus, the opinion surrounding whether international sporting events contribute positively to a country or not will be analyzed before a reasoned conclusion is reached or is drawn. Both verbs here work. Of course, we write the body paragraphs, and now pause the video and try to make up your own conclusion. This is mine, and I begin it with to conclude. To conclude, Although some people adopt the idea that arranging international sporting events is negative, it ramifies more benefits. Therefore, they should be encouraged by both the government and people. So as you can see here, I state that I'm with the idea of holding sporting events, and in the last sentence, I said that they should be encouraged by the government and people, which supposedly is mentioned in the body paragraphs. Let's see the synonyms that I use from the introduction. Instead of the verb enhance, I use ramify, which means develop. And instead of cultural understanding and economic development and all that, I use the word benefits, which means that it has positive sides or positive impacts on the society. So in brief, you restate what's mentioned in the introduction, which means that you paraphrase your introduction, and sometimes you take some information of your body paragraphs, like what I did here. I mentioned that it should be encouraged by people and the government, which means that I already mentioned it, but as you can see, without any details. Okay, and this is the last thing in this video. I think writing a conclusion is not difficult at all. It's very simple. You just need to paraphrase what you have stated through the whole essay, especially the introduction. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to watch the 2 previous videos on writing the introduction and the body paragraphs, because this is the 3rd part on writing a conclusion. And after you watch the 3 videos, I believe that you will be able to write any essay very easily. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to watch all my new videos.